precipice of what should be the ultimate showdown in the finale of American Horror Story 1984. But first, let's get through the episode titled Rest in Pieces. I'm Redcranke, and here's another Death Curse Society Slash report. Still getting used to that. Don't forget to subscribe. Now let's get into it. The episode begins with Brooke and Donna discussing their plans for revenge in a diner. They are recognized by a National Enquirer reporter, Susie Phillips, who stalks them back to their hotel room, where she extorts them so she can write a best-selling book about Camp Redwood. Brooke asks for her help if she promises to let them go and reveals that Margaret is the real killer. A pink sedan driven by Dylan McDermott's Bruce picks up the ghost hiker just outside of Camp Redwood. They discuss music and women before the knocking inside his trunk causes him to pull over and kill a random Mary Kay saleswoman he captured earlier. Margaret discovers that Kajagoogoo has been murdered and comes up with a dastardly plan to make Camp Redwood a mecca for 80s music fans forever by killing every musician at the festival. When she later reveals her plan to Richard Ramirez and Bruce, they both insist that Billy Idol be left alive, untouched. Ramirez is wandering around backstage looking for Billy Idol when he is attacked by Benjamin Richter. Richter is looking for revenge for his wife's death and hoping that killing Ramirez will protect his son Bobby. Their fight takes them onto the road when Bruce hits Richter with the pink sedan, sending Richter flying into the woods. Bruce begins to fanboy out on Ramirez and shows him the dead woman in his trunk. Bruce and Ramirez form a sort of bond over their murderous similarities and start to look for Richter to finish him off. They get a little help from Xavier, who shows them Richter's buried corpse. Richter wakes up from his death again, screaming in pain. The hiker tells him the first time is always the worst and that it gets easier over time. Montana and Trevor have a post-coital conversation about killing everyone that steps foot on the campgrounds, and Trevor leaving Margaret to stay with Montana. Richter appears again to fight with Ramirez, but Margaret appears suddenly and shoots him in the head. It's a crazy episode. The ghosts of Camp Redwood, including Montana, Xavier, Chet, and others, have captured Richter, stringing him up to a tree. They plan to torture him, but Richter pleads for a chance to kill Ramirez and protect his son. Richter reveals to the rest of the ghosts that Montana is why Ramirez came to Camp Redwood in the first place, which makes her an outcast. Brooke and Donna are showing Susie all the deadly sights of Camp Redwood, while Brooke is plotting Susie's death. Donna doesn't think it's a good idea, saying Brooke isn't a killer, but Brooke is determined. When Brooke finally begins to strike, Donna pulls her off Susie, telling Susie to run. Susie is then cornered by Ramirez and Bruce, who immediately kill her. Trevor finds a sad Montana in the woods after being outcast by the rest of the ghost group and professes his love to her, saying he's willing to kill himself to be with her forever. They have a strange but somewhat unintentionally funny interdimensional breakup, forcing Trevor to walk away. Richter is still being tortured by a few of the ghosts and placed bleeding in a small rowboat. As he floats away, he sees Montana on the shore just before a boy from the lake jumps up and pulls him under the water. A nice obvious nod to Friday the 13th. He wakes to find his mother, the lady in white, and his younger brother Bobby having a picnic. His mother tells Richter that he brought Bobby back to her, and for that she is eternally grateful. He finally feels the love of his mother he lacked while he was alive. As he goes off to play with his brother, the episode ends on a hopeful note, allowing Richter to find a sense of family once again, even in death. This felt like a strange episode, with many of the characters really exposing their feelings a little too much for my taste, but I like where I think the finale will end up. All the elements are there for an epic showdown between Brooke and Margaret, Mr. Jingles and the Night Stalker, even the rest of the ghosts, and Montana. Maybe. Not to even mention the fate of Billy Idol and the rest of the 80s one-hit wonders that are collected for the festival. One thing I will predict is we will not get all the answers we want at the end of this season. The writers will leave a couple of storylines open, especially Richter's son Bobby. I'm not sure we will learn much else about him in next week's finale, although we are still expecting a time jump to 2019 that we haven't gotten yet. Perhaps that will be the time that Bobby visits the camp for the first time to learn about his father. Maybe there will be a reunion yet. Also, according to creator Ryan Murphy, there was a big clue dropped in this episode for the theme of Season 10, which I think has to be tied to something Susie, the reporter from the National Enquirer, says. At the diner, she says, back in the 70s, all anyone cared about was Bigfoot, aliens, the Loch Ness Monster, and all that Leonard Nimoy in search of shit. Aliens have long been a heavily discussed fan theme for American Horror Story, but the inclusion of Bigfoot intrigued me. Could Bigfoot be a potential Season 10 storyline? it's definitely a true American horror story. We'll have to wait and see come next September. Are you still digging American Horror Story 1984? If you have any speculation, let's discuss it in the comments below, and stay tuned next week for another Slash Report. Don't miss our latest full episode available on YouTube now, and until next time, don't forget to subscribe. DC us out, and we'll see you soon. Woo!